Well, this is Agniya Mohammed, just 17 years of age, on the outside. A really tough lane for her, with the likes of Thompson-Hera coming through from the inside. Such a young, inexperienced athlete that hopefully she'll really soak it up. Agniya Laptsova of Papua New Guinea, PB earlier this season. She's gone inside 25 seconds and will need another PB to get anywhere close to the shake-up. This is Jacinta Beecher, semi-finalist in Eugene over the 2. PB in Japan for that 22.7. 24-year-old coming into her very best form. Mauricia Prieto studies at the University of Alabama, national champion for Trinidad and Tobago, just off the podium in the Pan Am Games with 3 of her teammates in the 4x1. She's gone inside 23 seconds, but not this season. Now listen to the reception for Great Britain's and Scotland's Beth Dobbin. St Andrews flags are flying high after Eilish McColgan's gold in the 10,000 last night. Dobbin in 4 with Denisha Cartwright of the Bahamas inside her. PB in Division 2 of the NCAAs earlier this year. And now to the Olympic champion and the newly crowned Commonwealth champion over 100 metres. We've had a lot of the women's finalists from last night not starting. Not the case for Thompson-Hera, fully embracing the Commonwealth experience. And the championship is richer, much richer for her participation. Thompson-Hera of Jamaica in 2, Cartwright Bahamas in 3, Dobbin Scotland 4, Prieto Trinidad in 5, Beecher Australia 6, Laptsova Papua New Guinea in 7, Mohammed the Maldives in lane 8. Excellent qualification so far. And Bomber 23.2, Das 23.4, White Jamaica 23.6, and Ofili from Nigeria 22.71. What will we see here from the newly crowned 100-metre champion Thompson-Hera in lane 2, 5th heat of the 200 metres.
Set.
An expectant hush around the stadium. You can hear a pin drop. Thompson-Hera has Cartwright to chase. Going well is Beecher, coming round that bend with Beth Dobbin also in the mix for one of these top 3 automatic places. But Thompson-Hera is floating down the track. Dobbin closing in on Beecher. Hera jogs across the line. Dobbin second, Beecher third, 22.80. She's 900 slower than Ofili from the previous heat, but that looked utterly effortless. She's helped a little bit by that handy tailwind. But I don't know about you, Steph, I'm just so impressed at the maturity of Thompson-Hera and how much respect she's paying these Commonwealth titles by being here.
100%. When I was holding my breath until the start of the heats, waiting to see if she would come out, and especially after so many athletes did have the DNS. And again, I think that just speaks to 22.39 in the World Championships for 7th place. That's still a great time, but for her standards, it wasn't enough. And this is someone who has come back determined to write her own story to end off this season. It was a great start from Thompson-Hera, but also from Dobbin and from Beecher. And again, the 200 rounds, you have to put the work in up front, and you can kind of see a bit later on down the race if you can take the burners off. We see Elaine as she gets into her smooth running, but Dobbin and Beecher are still fighting to make sure they're going to be in that top 3 automatic qualifying place.
Yeah, it's just brilliant to have her here. Beth Dobbin, such a popular British and Scottish athlete, coming through to outdip Beecher. And by the way, the non-automatic 6th spot has now tickled its way up to 24.49. Cartwright of the Bahamas from this heat. It was previously Bayu of Papua New Guinea, but Cartwright, who had a decent run there, the young Bahamian, is just about holding on to a non-automatic spot, but that was nothing more than a jog there at the end from the Olympic champion. I think she's just determined to race as much as she can when she's feeling fit, because despite the fact that she's a quadruple individual Olympic champion, not even bringing into account the relays, over the years intermittently she's had a torrid time with all sorts of injuries, and she's obviously come here feeling like she's in the mood, feeling like she's in the groove. She's done the 1, why not the 2?
I think as an athlete, you never know when your time's going to be done. You have to take every opportunity you can when your body is fit.
Well, you can see the strength of that wind that was helping Elaine Thompson-Herah, but she was met by enormous talent. At 22.80, Beth Dobbin coming through to out.
The women's 200 meters can tell very different stories depending on the context, and nowhere is that contrast more striking than between a heptathlon race and an elite standalone sprint. Two performances, separated by discipline and expectation, reveal not only the diversity of the event, but also the different ways dominance can manifest on the track. At the 2023 Russian Championships, the 200 meters in the heptathlon was less about pure speed and more about survival, efficiency, and points. Athletes entered the race already carrying fatigue from earlier events, making every stride a balance between pushing for time and conserving energy. In the opening heat, Agniya Laptsova delivered exactly that kind of controlled performance. Running from lane 3, she managed the curve with composure before accelerating into the straight, gradually distancing herself from the field. Her winning time of 26.28 seconds may not stand out in isolation, but within the heptathlon context, it represented a valuable and well-executed effort. The second heat raised the intensity further, especially with the presence of Sofia Yakushina, one of the most promising young athletes in the competition. A restart before the race added psychological pressure, forcing competitors to reset their focus under tense conditions. In combined events, moments like these can be decisive, not just physically, but mentally. The 200 meters becomes a test of resilience, where maintaining technique under fatigue often matters more than outright speed. In contrast, the elite standalone 200 meters tells a completely different story, one centered on precision, peak performance, and absolute dominance. When Elaine Thompson-Herah stepped onto the track, there was no question of energy management across multiple events. This was her domain, and every detail of her race reflected that specialization. From the very start, her approach was defined by calm authority. Positioned in lane 2 against a strong field that included Beth Dobbin and Justina Becker, she showed no urgency, only control. Her acceleration phase was smooth, almost effortless, and as she entered the bend, the separation began to appear. Unlike the heptathletes, who must carefully distribute their effort, Thompson-Herah ran with the confidence of an athlete who knows exactly how much speed to apply and when. Coming off the curve, the difference became undeniable. While others strained to maintain form, she seemed to glide, maintaining perfect mechanics and rhythm. By the time she reached the home straight, the race was effectively over. Her winning time of 22.80 seconds, achieved while easing down before the finish, highlighted not just her speed, but her efficiency and race intelligence. What makes this comparison fascinating is not simply the gap in times, but the difference in purpose. For the heptathletes, the 200 meters is a strategic component of a larger battle, where consistency and control outweigh raw speed. For Thompson-Herah, it is an opportunity to assert dominance, to execute a race at the highest possible level with minimal visible strain. Yet, both performances share a common thread: composure under pressure. Whether it's Laptsova managing fatigue and delivering a clean race, Yakushina resetting after a disrupted start, or Thompson-Herah executing with surgical precision, each athlete demonstrates mastery within their own context. Ultimately, the women's 200 meters is not defined by a single standard of excellence. It is a versatile stage where different types of greatness emerge, from the calculated endurance of combined event athletes to the breathtaking speed of world-class sprinters. And in these contrasting performances, we see the full spectrum of what the event can offer.